Good morning. Hmm. Yeah, I'll just read the title and blurb and then talk about it. Debating the OPPT is not my job. Yes, I am convinced the One People's Public Trust is the game changer we've all been waiting for. However, replying to critics and answering ridiculous questions from those who are buying into the disinformation about it is not a role I choose to play. Let me say this about the OPPT. There is nothing to join, nothing to sign up for, no price to pay for the information, no government created by it, no authority given for anyone to exercise over anyone else, and no belief system to which anyone must subscribe. The OPPT merely serves notice to the world that we are in a new paradigm of total freedom, total accountability, and the absolute right to be and do according to our own free will choices, provided we do not harm another. It puts Earth under the natural law of our Creator that is summed up in all major religions as the Golden Rule, however expressed, other than he who has the gold makes the rules, which is very old paradigm. What precipitated today's topic has actually been occurring over a period of time, but it came to a head yesterday when one of my longtime subscribers or Facebook friends, whatever, was demanding answers to her questions. She even made a video that I didn't watch questioning the OPPT. And one of her comments, which was the trigger that caused me to block her, was that anybody that believes in the OPPT is either high on drugs or drunk. And that was, for me, the straw that broke the camel's back. I blocked her. And I don't block a whole lot of people. I don't unfriend a whole lot of people. I just don't do that very often. But this is a lady who has, for over a long period of time, demanded answers and complained bitterly that her questions are not being answered, as if it's somebody else's responsibility to clear up her own doubts and her own concerns. I mean, I've tried at various times to deal with some of the things that she's raised, but she never is satisfied with the answer. And with all of the people that send me comments and send me personal emails and sometimes make phone calls to me that I deal with, I don't have time to answer ridiculous things like, is Heather a Jesuit? Or is she part of the Illuminati? Or is she a Rothschild? And all of these things have been floated out there. She's a bar attorney, so therefore anything that she does cannot be legitimate because bar attorneys are not legitimate. She's creating a new control system. And I mean, ridiculous stuff. I mean, absolutely ridiculous stuff. As anyone would easily determine if they took time to study the documents and took time to listen to Freedom Reigns with Lisa Harrison and some of the other wonderful material that's out there on American Kabuki and I don't even remember all the what's the other one? Removing the Shackles. You know, there's so much good information out there that answers the questions and the criticisms that people have, including Arthur Christian and others that have gone out there railing against the OPPT. Now, the one thing that I want to say and make very, very clear all of the remedies to gain our freedom that I've explored over the last 10, 12 years have had generally one thing in common. There are people trying to make money off of selling the information or some kind of service connected to the information, and they're trying to make a profit off of other people's ignorance. That's true of maybe not all, but most of the other remedies to gain our freedom from a corrupted corporate system that I've noticed. The OPPT does none of that. Everything that has been done by Heather and the other trustees and those of us that are behind it and pushing it, if you will, as far as informing the world, we're doing it at our own expense. We're doing it because our hearts are in it, because we want everybody to get it, everybody to be free. Now, I said there's no belief system that you have to subscribe to. There is a belief system that most of us that are pushing it do subscribe to, and that is that we are created by a higher power, that we are part of that higher power, that higher power has always been working through us, and that higher power requires of us total responsibility, total accountability, not to infringe upon the rights of another to be and do according to their own free will choices. We strongly subscribe to that which might be summed up as the law of one. It is one creator. It's about cooperation. It's not about competition. It's about living in harmony with ourself, with others in our world, and with our environment, including the planet that we live on, including all the animals and plants and minerals and everything else that make up our experience of physical life. I think that, for me anyway, pretty much sums up a belief that I feel most of us that are really involved in this have in common. We are not in the old paradigm game of one religion competing against another, one ideology competing against another. We're not in the mindset of chasing money, because we realize, I think most of us, that ultimately we won't need money to live on our planet anymore. That's an oxymoron to have to pay to live on the planet you were born on. It's absolutely insane to have to pay for things that are natural rights for us to have, including toys that are almost required to live in society. But the critics of the OPPT that are raising these stupid questions, the critics haven't even taken time to understand what it's about, and oftentimes the critics' motive, if you want to get down to the brass tacks, the motive is the OPPT will upset the apple cart of them continuing to do what they've always done to earn their living. They don't like the idea that it pulls out all the stops, if you will, and takes away all of the closets and basements that people have been hiding their motive in to take advantage of other people against other people's will, to lie and coerce and to manipulate and to even murder. You know, it totally tears down the facade of national security, where the national security involves the perpetrator's right to continue to get away with crimes against humanity. It pulls that all down. It takes away that facade and holds every individual accountable. And the individuals that don't want to be accountable don't like it. And so they lie about it. They create all sorts of false testimony and false witness and say things that absolutely have no bearing in fact. And people start believing that because we've been trained with cognitive dissonance, as Cosmic Claire says. We've been trained to disregard anything that we're not familiar with. And most people on the planet are still not familiar with new paradigm thinking, that everybody is equal, that we were created to all have the right to be, to just be ourselves, to experience life without threat, without being intimidated by some bully that wants to extort money from us and operates through fear. The new paradigm ultimately is going to be fearlessness. We don't have anything to be afraid of, because love is going to be the foundation principle of the new paradigm, which has always been here, but almost pushed down in a mystery school, a hidden thing, occult, if you will. Hey, this stuff is all coming into the open now thanks to the internet. The OPPT would not be able to even be implemented were it not for the internet. Or it would take a lot more time and a lot more effort. But because of the internet, we have the ability to actually, everybody that has internet connection can do the research for him or herself and can find out for him or herself. But you can also find all of the disinformation, all of the reasons to doubt, all of the reasons to suspect. And that's all old paradigm stuff. I'm telling you, folks, we're moving into a new paradigm. And yes, there's still an overlap between the old and the new. There are still a lot of people stuck in the old. I know that. I realize that. It's not my job to argue and convince. All I'm doing is presenting information. And if you have some different point of view, you have the freedom to live and to be and to do and to express your point of view. And those that resonate with your point of view will gather around you and they will pay attention to you. And if they don't, they will not pay attention to you. And I don't care if I lose friends and lose subscribers because you disagree with me. But I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to enter into a debate with you over points that to me are ridiculous. Now, honest queries, that's another matter. I may answer an honest query. If you have something that just doesn't make complete sense, and if I have the ability to clear it up and the time to deal with the issue, yeah, I don't mind doing that. And neither do other people that I see as carrying the ball as far as educating people about the OPPT. Most of us recognize that we are servants of humanity, but that doesn't mean that we're slaves. It doesn't mean that we have an obligation to answer every question and to address every concern that comes to us, because we have to also be good stewards of our own well-being and not allow ourselves to get overwhelmed with work. Now, I've had a tendency in my life to be a yes person a lot, and I'm learning how to say no. I'm learning how to draw boundaries that allow me to take care of me. And it's really important that I do that and not feel an obligation. As often happens, I say yes to something and then I get resentful that I feel overworked or overwhelmed. And I've had to actually start telling people no and setting limits on people that pull on my time. I've had to do that for my own well-being. And I want you to understand it and not take it personal. I'm trying to take care of my inner child, of myself, and keep myself in as healthy a state of mind and body and spirit as possible. It helps a great deal having to do these videos. I say being able to do these videos every day plays a great role in keeping me centered, because every day before I do the video, I have to spend time meditating and pondering. And there was a whole bunch of stuff in my meditation and dream state through the night that I could have shared, but I'm not sharing it. Just let me say this. There seemed to be a whole bunch of incidents in my dream state, in my meditation, where we're being provided for in many different ways. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And that's about all the detail that I'm going to give you. Uh, in any case, again, I thank you for listening. If I've pissed you off, go in and find out what about I said that pissed you off. If you like what I said, good. But in either case, I'm not going to be debating about OPPT. It's not my job. Namaste.